I always believed I was one of the lucky ones. You know how people say that true love is rare, that marriage is full of compromises, and that trust is hard to find? Well, I thought I had beaten the odds. I was married to Emily, the most beautiful, caring, and loyal woman I had ever met. 4 or 5 years. She was not just my wife, but my partner, my best friend, and the person I trusted the most in this world. Our love story felt like something out of a movie. We met during a friend's party. She was standing near the balcony, holding a glass of wine, laughing at something her friend had just whispered. I don't know what it was, but the moment I saw her, something inside me clicked. Emily had this warm, effortless smile that could light up any room. Her eyes, they had that sparkle, the kind you can't fake. I was hooked instantly. It didn't take long before we started dating, and within a year, I proposed. She said yes with tears in her eyes, and I promised her in that moment that I would spend the rest of my life making her happy. On our wedding day, when she walked down the aisle in her white dress, I genuinely thought my heart was going to burst. I couldn't stop smiling. I thought to myself, this is it. This is my forever. And for a long time, it really did feel like forever. We built a home together. We spent weekends cooking new recipes, watching movies late into the night, or simply lying in bed and talking about our dreams. She used to tell me she wanted a big family, a garden, maybe even a dog. I wanted the same. Life wasn't perfect, but it was perfect enough for me. And then there was Daniel. Daniel had been my best friend since college. We met on the very first day, two clueless freshmen trying to figure out where the economics building was. We clicked instantly. He was the brother I never had. Through exams, heartbreaks, job hunting, and all the stupid mistakes of youth, Daniel was always by my side. After graduation, we even moved to the same city. Our bond was unshakable. When I introduced Emily to Daniel, I was a little nervous. You know how it is. You want your best friend and your partner to get along. But to my relief, they did. In fact, they got along so well that I used to joke about how lucky I was. My wife and my best friend actually liked each other. The three of us hung out all the time. Game nights, barbecues, road trips. It felt like the perfect trio. For years, nothing seemed wrong. Life was good. Too good, maybe. But then, slowly, things started to change. At first, it was little things. Emily became more protective of her phone. She used to leave it on the coffee table or the bed without a second thought. But now it was always with her. If I walked into the room unexpectedly, she would quickly lock the screen, sometimes even turn the phone face down, as if she didn't want me to see who she was texting. "Who's that?" I would ask casually. "Oh, just work friends," she'd say with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I wanted to believe her. I really did. I reminded myself that she had a demanding job, that she needed her own space, that not every smile at a phone screen meant something suspicious. But once the thought entered my head, it was hard to get rid of it. Daniel, too, began to act differently. He wasn't as open with me as he used to be. Before, we'd talk about everything, work frustrations, funny things that happened during the day, our plans for future. Now, he seemed distracted whenever we hung out, and when Emily was around, I noticed quick glances between them, not obvious enough to raise an alarm, but enough to make me wonder. I told myself, stop being paranoid. They're your two favorite people. Why would they ever hurt you? But the unease kept growing. One night, I came home earlier than expected. A meeting had been canceled, and I thought I'd surprise Emily with takeout from her favorite Thai place. When I walked through the door, I heard her laughter coming from the living room. It was the kind of laugh she used to share with me in our early days, the genuine, happy kind. I peeked in and saw her curled up on the couch, texting on her phone. She was smiling, giggling even, completely absorbed in the conversation. "Who's making you laugh like that?" I teased, holding up the takeout bag. She jumped a little, quickly locking her phone and placing it on the table. "Oh, you scared me. Just a silly meme from a coworker," she said, brushing it off with a smile. But in that split second, before she locked the screen, I saw the name. Daniel. It felt like the ground shifted beneath me. My chest tightened, my heart pounded, and my mind began racing. I told myself, maybe it's nothing. They're friends too. He could have sent her something funny. Don't jump to conclusions. But deep down, something inside me cracked. For the rest of the evening, I watched her closely. She laughed at my jokes. She kissed me goodnight. She acted like everything was perfectly normal. But now, every smile, every glance, every moment felt different. That night, as she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling in the dark. My mind replayed every little sign I had ignored. The secretive phone habits, the sudden late nights, the strange tension when Daniel was around. Was it all in my head? Or was my perfect marriage built on a lie? I didn't know for sure. But I did know one thing. Something was very, very wrong. And I was going to find out the truth. That night, after seeing Daniel's name on Emily's phone, I could barely sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to her soft breathing beside me. On the outside, she looked so peaceful, so innocent. But my mind was no longer calm. Every little thing she had done in the past few weeks replayed in my head like puzzle pieces waiting to fit together. Her sudden late nights at work, her constant need to guard her phone, her growing distance from me. And now Daniel. The thought that my wife and my best friend could betray me was too painful to accept. I kept telling myself, "You're overthinking. You're being paranoid." But the image of her smiling at Daniel's texts wouldn't leave my head. By morning, I had made a decision. I needed to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. At first, I didn't do anything extreme. I simply started paying closer attention. I noticed her patterns, her excuses, her body language. When she said she was working late, I'd ask casual questions. "Oh, really? Which project? Who's staying with you?" She would answer quickly, but sometimes her answers didn't line up. One evening, she said she was having dinner with her friend from work, but when I asked which restaurant, she hesitated before naming one. Something about the pause felt wrong, like she was making it up. Meanwhile, Daniel started avoiding me. He stopped coming over like he used to. Whenever we did meet, he seemed nervous, his eyes darting away from mine. I wanted to grab him and demand the truth, but I wasn't ready. Not yet. If this was real, I needed proof. I hated myself for it, but one night, when Emily went to take a shower, I picked up her phone. My hands were shaking as I typed in her passcode. For years, she had never hidden it from me. But recently she had changed it. That in itself was suspicious. But here's the thing. I knew her well. Too well. She always used birthdays for her passwords. I tried her sister's birthday. Wrong. Then her mom's. Wrong again. Finally, I tried Daniel's birthday. The screen unlocked. My stomach dropped. I went straight to her messages. The chat with Daniel was pinned at the top. I tapped it, and what I saw made my chest tighten. Flirty messages. Inside jokes. Late night, I miss you texts. And then the photos, selfies of her smiling in bed, wearing my t-shirt, but sending them to him. I felt sick. I couldn't read more. I put the phone back before she came out, but my world was spinning. It was true. My wife was having an affair with my best friend. That night, I barely spoke to her. She didn't notice. Or maybe she did and just didn't care. She kissed me goodnight like nothing had changed, and I lay there wondering how many times she had kissed me with his taste still on her lips. I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her awake and ask, "Why? Why him? Why would you do this to me?" But I didn't, because deep down I knew something. If I confronted her now, she would deny it. She would cry. She would manipulate. She would twist the story, and somehow I would end up being the insecure husband who didn't trust his wife. No, I couldn't let that happen. If I was going to take them down, I needed undeniable proof. The next day, I started planning. I downloaded a phone monitoring app on her device while she was in the shower. It would back up her texts and photos to a hidden folder on my computer. I also bought a small recording device online. It was disguised as a USB charger, perfect for plugging into the living room outlet. I wanted to hear what they talked about when I wasn't around. I even started documenting her lies. Every time she said she was at work, I wrote down the date and time. Every time Daniel canceled plans with me at the last minute, I wrote that down too. It felt disgusting, sneaking around like this. But what choice did I have? My marriage wasn't real anymore. I needed to prepare for the moment when I could no longer pretend. Within a week, the evidence started piling up. Texts about meeting at hotels. Secret jokes about me being too trusting. Messages like, "Last night was amazing. I can't wait to see you again." Every word cut deeper than a knife. Then one night, the recording device caught something that shattered me completely. I was working late, and when I got home, Emily was already asleep. I checked the recorder. It was a conversation between her and Daniel in our living room, just hours before I came home. Her voice was soft, almost guilty. "What if he finds out?" Daniel laughed. "Relax. He'll never suspect us. He trusts us too much. Besides, he's too naive to figure it out." I clenched my fist so hard, I thought my nails would pierce my skin. Naive. That's what they thought of me. A fool. A blind idiot. From that day, I stopped seeing Emily as my wife. She was a stranger. Every time she touched me, every time she said, "I love you," it felt like poison. And Daniel, my so-called brother, he was dead to me. But still, I didn't confront them. Not yet. I had to bide my time. I had to play the long game. Because if I was going to take my revenge, it had to be perfect. One night, as Emily slept, I sat in the dark living room, staring at my laptop screen filled with her texts and photos with Daniel. I could feel the rage boiling inside me. But beneath the rage was something colder, sharper. A plan. I whispered to myself. "You think I'm naive? You'll see how naive I am when I destroy both of you." And with that, I began preparing the revenge that would end their world forever. The day I discovered the truth, my heart broke. But the day I decided to take revenge, something inside me changed forever. I was no longer the naive husband they thought I was. I wasn't the blind fool who trusted too much. I was the man who was about to destroy them both, living a double life. For the next few weeks, I became an actor in my own home. Every morning, I kissed Emily on the forehead, told her to have a good day, and smiled like nothing was wrong. Every evening, I listened to her lies about work dinners and late-night projects, nodding as if I believed every word. Inside, though, I was a storm. I learned how to mask my anger with fake laughter. I learned how to eat dinner with a woman I now despised. I learned how to shake hands with a best friend who had betrayed me. And every day, while they thought I was in the dark, I was collecting more and more light. Light that would expose every dirty secret they had tried to hide. The evidence piles up. The monitoring app gave me everything. Their chats, their photos, their call logs. It was all there. There were messages about meeting in hotels across town. Emily would text me, "Working late tonight. Don't wait up." And at the same time, she'd text Daniel, "Room 203 at 8 p.m. There were selfies of them together, laughing, kissing, even lying in bed. The betrayal wasn't just physical. It was emotional. They weren't just having an affair. They were planning a future. I saw messages like, "When do you think we can tell him?" "Not yet. He needs to stay in the dark a little longer. One day, it'll be just us." Each message was like gasoline on a fire burning inside me. But I wasn't rushing. No, I was patient. Because the best revenge isn't rushed. It's carefully crafted. Pretending to be clueless. One evening, Daniel actually had the audacity to come over for a few beers. I sat across from him, handing him a cold bottle, forcing myself to smile. "How's work?" I asked, my voice steady. He shrugged. "Busy, you know how it is." I wanted to smash the bottle across his face right there. But instead, I laughed. "Yeah, I hear you." The whole time, I kept thinking, "You're drinking my beer, sitting in my house, and sleeping with my wife. And you think I don't know." That night, after he left, I looked at Emily. She smiled at me sweetly, kissed me, and said, "I love you." I whispered back, "I love you too." But in my head, I was screaming, not for long, planning the big reveal. At first, I thought about confronting them privately. But then I realized, no, that would be too easy for them. They would cry, they would make excuses, and maybe even walk away together, hand in hand like the victims. No, I wanted their lies exposed. I wanted everyone to see what they truly were. I wanted to rip away their masks in front of the people who mattered most. That's when the idea came to me. Our wedding anniversary was only 2 months away. Emily had been planning a big dinner party, inviting our families and close friends. Perfect. They thought it would be a celebration of love. Instead, it would be their public execution, gathering proof like ammunition. In the meantime, I made sure I had undeniable evidence. Screenshots of texts, printed photos from their chats, even recordings of their phone calls. One call made my blood boil more than any other. Emily's voice whispered, "Sometimes I feel guilty." Daniel chuckled, "Don't. He'll never know. And if he does, well, who cares? We'll be together anyway." I clenched my jaw as I saved the recording. "Oh, you'll care, Daniel. You'll both care." I also hired a private investigator. I wanted third-party proof, something they couldn't dismiss as me misunderstanding. Within 2 weeks, the PI handed me a folder. Inside were photos of Emily and Daniel entering a hotel together, holding hands, kissing, cold, undeniable proof, playing the loving husband. The hardest part was pretending everything was fine. Emily still laughed with me at dinner. She still posted pictures of us online with captions like, "Love of my life, Red Heart." Each time she did, I wanted to scream. But instead, I smiled in the photos, because I knew those same smiling pictures would make the betrayal look even worse when everyone learned the truth. One evening, while she was cooking, she hugged me from behind and said, "You're so good to me. I don't know what I'd do without you." I forced myself not to flinch. What she didn't know was that in just a few weeks, she'd find out exactly what life without me looked like. The calm before the storm. As the anniversary party drew closer, I began organizing everything. I rented a projector for the dining room. I prepared a slideshow. Every message, every photo, every video clip. I arranged them in order like a story. Their story. I even prepared a speech. Calm, cold, ruthless. In my mind, I could already see the looks on their faces when their secrets flashed across the screen in front of everyone. I could hear the gasps of our families. I could feel the silence that would fall over the room. They thought they were clever. They thought I was a fool. But the storm was coming, and they had no idea. Cliffhanger ending for part 3. The night before the party, I sat alone in the living room, staring at the projector and the folder of evidence. My hands shook, not with fear, but with anticipation. I whispered to myself, "Tomorrow, the world will see who you really are." And for the first time in weeks, I smiled, not a fake smile, but a real one, because tomorrow was the day everything would burn. The night of our wedding anniversary finally arrived. Emily had been planning the party for weeks, completely unaware that I was planning something far bigger. She was excited, glowing even, as she set the dining table, placed flowers in vases, and adjusted the candles. She thought this night would be about celebrating our love. In truth, it was about exposing her lies. Our families began to arrive. My parents, her parents, a few close friends. Daniel, of course, was on the guest list. He walked in wearing a sharp suit, smiling that fake smile I now recognized so easily. When our eyes met, he gave me a pat on the shoulder. "Happy anniversary, brother." Brother. The word made me want to laugh and scream at the same time. "Thanks, Daniel," I said calmly, forcing my lips into a smile. Emily floated around the room like the perfect hostess, greeting everyone, laughing, pouring drinks. To anyone else, she looked like the picture of a devoted wife. But to me, she looked like a stranger, a liar, a snake in my home. Dinner was served. The table was filled with laughter and chatter, and then it was time for the toast. Emily stood up, raising her glass. "To 5 beautiful years of marriage," she said, her eyes sparkling as she looked at me. "To the man I love more than anything." Everyone clapped. Glasses clinked. My stomach twisted. When the noise died down, I stood up. "Thank you, Emily. And thank you, everyone, for being here tonight." I paused, my hand steady on the stem of my glass. 5 years of marriage is a milestone. And marriage, as you all know, is built on 2 things, love and trust. I let the silence hang. Emily smiled at me, clearly expecting some romantic speech. Daniel smirked, sipping his wine. But sometimes, I continued, my voice calm, trust is broken, and when it is, the truth eventually comes out. I walked to the side of the room where the projector was set up. The lights dimmed. A slideshow began to play on the wall. At first, it was innocent. Photos of Emily and me from our wedding day, our vacations, our happy moments. Everyone smiled, clapped, laughed. Emily looked touched. Then the next photo appeared. A screenshot of a text conversation. Emily's name at the top. Her words, "I can't wait to see you tonight. Room 203, 8 p.m. The room went silent. Confused whispers rippled through the guests. Emily froze. Daniel's smirk vanished. Click. Next slide. Another text. Emily, don't worry, he won't find out. Daniel, he's too naive. Gasps echoed around the room. My mother covered her mouth. Emily's father shook his head in disbelief. Click. A photo. Emily and Daniel together in a hotel room, holding each other, smiling. Stop it. Emily suddenly shouted, standing up. This is private. No, I said coldly. This is the truth. Click. Another photo. Another text. A recording played. Emily's voice. What he finds out? Daniel's voice. Relax. He'll never suspect us. The room erupted. People whispered, gasped, muttered in shock. Daniel's face turned red, his hands clenching into fists. Please, it's not what it looks like. Emily cried, her voice breaking. I can explain. Explain. I laughed bitterly. Explain how you used to kiss me goodnight after being with him? Explain how you planned a future together while lying to my face? Which part do you want to explain, Emily? Her eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake. A mistake? I interrupted. No, a mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is burning dinner. Cheating on your husband with his best friend for months? That's not a mistake, Emily. That's a choice. I turned to Daniel. And you? You sat in my house, drank my beer, smiled at me, called me brother, all while sleeping with my wife. How do you even look at yourself in the mirror? Daniel opened his mouth, but no words came out. His face was pale, sweat dripping down his forehead. Walking away. The room was chaos now. Family members shouting, some comforting me, others yelling at Emily and Daniel. But I felt strangely calm. I looked around the table, then back at Emily. I loved you more than anything. I gave you my trust, my heart, my soul, and you threw it all away for him. She reached out, tears streaming. Please don't do this here. We can talk. I stepped back. No, Emily, you ended our marriage long before tonight. This is just me finally burying it. I walked to the door, picked up my coat, and turned to the stunned crowd. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm done here. With that, I walked out. I could hear her sobs behind me as I left, but I didn't look back. For once, I wasn't a naive, trusting fool. I was free. In the days that followed, the fallout was brutal for them. Emily's family disowned her. Daniel lost the respect of everyone we knew. Their reputations were in ruins. As for me, it wasn't easy. My heart was shattered, but at least now I knew the truth. At least now I could start over, without lies, without betrayal. And in a strange way, that night gave me peace. Because revenge wasn't just about exposing them. It was about reclaiming myself. And I had done exactly that. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's not about screaming or fighting. Sometimes it's about patience, planning, and timing it perfectly. They thought I was naive. They thought I would never find out. But in the end, I walked away with my head held high while they drowned in the mess they created. And that, to me, was the sweetest revenge of all.